Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim Awesome Naya. Hope you are great. Did you guys see the conference that happened between Zora Mamdani and Donald Trump? Because at this point, it looks like somebody is smithing. At first, I woke up to it. I was like, is this AI or there is something that is going on that I do not? At first, I thought it was a joke, only for me to decided to start looking for to make my research to find out that there is nothing like AI. There is nothing like nothing. It was all real. And the man that who has been screaming that if he sees Mamdani, he is going to burn, he will do this, he will do that, he will crush, he will quench. So Mamdani, and he was all smitten. What happened? What is the trick? Because at this point, it looks like there is something going on that I don't understand, but man, you could see his face and he was so calm and relaxed. They asked Zoran, do you think this man is a fascist? He said, like he said before, he says, say it. Like, so he knew he is fascist. Wow. Donald Trump knows that being a fascist in the United States is unconstitutional and punishable by death. And he's doing it. And this will get him something not nice. But yeah, I am still kind of watching what happened. That was really very strange to see him that humble. Let's get into this video.
Did you guys see the video of Trump and Zoran Mamdani? Trump was kissing his ass so much, and Zoran Mamdani was sitting there going, yep. It was insane. Seriously, it was to the extent that I thought maybe Trump was trying to alert the public who loves Mamdani that maybe Mamdani and Trump are actually like friends. Except if you look at Mamdani's face during the entire press conference, he is just like, okay, I'm just gonna, all right, that's fine. Yes, you're a fascist, and thank you for acknowledging that you are. Anyway, watch this. What are your thoughts?
He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist, and your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay.
It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
Just days ago, you referred to President Trump as a despot who betrayed the country.
I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that insulting. Maybe I think he'll change his mind after we get to working together. Yes, please.
A man cannot be offended by a label if that label is the costume that he puts on in the mirror every day. You see, fascism is about overall control. It's about punishing dissent. It's about loyalty over truth and idolizing strongman power. And it's about dividing people into real citizens versus everyone else. So Trump doesn't flinch when Mamdani calls him a fascist because Trump spent decades trying to brand himself as the tough daddy of America. The one who gets to decide who belongs, who doesn't, and who needs to be punished. For him, fascist rings like CEO of America, and to him it has a great ring to it. Fascist is not a problem to him. It's a promotion. See, normal people feel offended and insulted when someone calls them a tyrant. But a narcissist, to them they hear, oh, so you noticed my power. You see the difference? They take that criticism as confirmation to their power, to their own greatness. If you boo them, they hear applause. If you call them dangerous, they hear, I'm dominant. Fascist, racist, bully, abuser, none of those hit the ego of someone who feeds off of fear and obedience. And Trump grew up with a worldview of white supremacy, marinated in the idea that whiteness equals authority, that wealth equals righteousness, and that domination equals success. So when that's your starting point, being called a fascist does not sound like an accusation. It sounds more like an accomplishment, like confirmation, like someone's finally telling you what you've known about yourself all along. And he loves hierarchy because to him, hierarchy is not cruelty, it's order. And discrimination is not injustice. injustice, it's the natural order of things. And Mamdani hadn't even opened his mouth before Trump jumped in. That's because a narcissist has to control the narrative. The narcissist rulebook says do not let anyone else define you. Only you speak for you and control the narrative in every room, every space, every story. Frame it in your benefit. So if it would have been Mamdani to answer, yes, he's a fascist, it would have been humiliating. But if it was Trump saying, yes, go ahead and say it, I'm a fascist, I don't mind, that's him controlling the narrative. That's him holding the power. And his devotees do not mind the accusation of fascism. They want strong daddy America power and protection because he promises to handle all the people that they fear. Immigrants, Black Americans, poor people, queer people, and anybody outside of their whiteness fantasy. So Trump accepts the label of fascism because it does not threaten his identity or his power base. In fact, it enhances both. Because if we're being honest, authoritarians do not want love. They want obedience. So if fascist translates to people can't control me, people fear me, and people cannot ignore me, then the title fascist does not feel condemning. It feels flattering. And that is why Trump did this when that reporter asked Mamdani if he would.
Mamdani calling Trump a fascist to his face is the most New York thing you could possibly get in politics, bro. I'm from Jersey. I'm not even from New York. And when I tell you that ish had me hype, New York, you guys are lucky to have a political leader like that to represent you, bro. He is the physical embodiment of New York City, man. Very proud of y'all for making the right people famous and making the right people your political leaders. And also, I can't believe this is the same guy that online leftists were bitching and complaining about, bro.
The Trump-Mamdani press conference is truly one of the most insane things I've ever seen in American politics, and that is really saying something. Like, I'm not going to recap it second by second. You really need to just go watch it, or at least the clips that are making the rounds, because it's a fucking fever dream, dude. Like, Trump loves Mamdani. Can't shut up about him. He'll sing his praises to anybody who will listen. That really shouldn't surprise us, because this was never about political ideology for Trump. Trump doesn't even have a coherent political ideology. This was always just about celebrity and charisma and vanity for him. And Mamdani is charismatic as fuck. You gotta give that to the guy. He called Trump a fascist standing right next to him, and Trump patted him on the shoulder. Like, this is really fucking wild. And whether or not this will in fact be politically productive in and of itself, although I think it very well might be, it should tell you something about the possibility of making overtures to Trump supporters. Because like Trump, the ideology for MAGA is completely fucking incoherent. Like, if you think it's an ideological blockade that's stopping the American working class from uniting politically, this should tell you that that is not the.
What the fuck did Mamdani slip in Trump's drink for him to be so compliant, submissive, almost? I would love to live in Mamdani's New York. Yes, yes. Didn't you hate him and want him to be dead a couple days ago?
But I just want to congratulate. I think you're going to have hopefully a really great mayor. The better he does, the happier I am, I will say. There's no difference in party. There's no difference in anything. And we're going to be helping him to make everybody's dream come true, having a strong and very safe New York. And congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Imagine being the Democratic establishment right now, right? You got a candidate in which you try to sabotage at every single turn until you realize you couldn't do it anymore. That same candidate stuck true to messaging, things that people have critiqued you on as far as affordability is concerned and the working class, right? On top of that, didn't waver too much on a lot of things that I think a lot of people would have got taken right out the paint. And on top of that, your arch nemesis, right, Trump, he never wavered on telling you exactly and telling the world exactly what he thinks about Trump, right? And then he shows exactly how you deal with Trump, right? And this message is going to be for Democratic establishment, liberals, leftists, Trump haters like myself, right? I really want it to be a realistic conversation, right? But the point is, and that gentleman goes and shows you, right, puts on this masterclass, right, of, staying true to messaging, of, not wavering on some foreign policy stuff, still standing tall against the guy, you say is the boogeyman, and then he can walk into that White House and for whatever reason, maybe because it's just that charming, and or, you know, Trump knows affordability is popular right now, so Trump is very transactional. And or maybe because Mamdani knows what I know, Zoran knows what I know. Because if you lived in the Northeast and you know Donald Trump, it kind of gives you my boss vibes, right? And if you stand tall, if you let him know you can punch back, right? If you let him know you can swing back, he adjusts. But anyway, Zoran walks into that room and Trump is not playing the same old games. Meanwhile, weeks ago, you know what I'm saying? It was just calling them all types of, Islamophobic names, right? That's that. Now, what's interesting is if you don't believe me, they actually challenged Zoran Mamdani, all right, on this stuff. Let's look at it.
It sounds like you had a productive discussion, but just days ago you referred to President Trump as a despot who betrayed the country. You said you would be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda. Are you planning to retract any of these remarks in order to improve your relationship?
I think both President Trump and I, we are very clear about our positions and our views, and what I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers. And frankly, that is something that could transform the lives of the 8.5 million people who are...
Right? I stand on what I stand on. I know I got to work with him. I feel how he feels. He feels how he feels. I'm now an elected official, so I'm going to do what I have to do, which speaks to my next point on what I want to say to liberals and leftists. I don't really know how some of y'all might interpret this. Oh, shouldn't stand next to Trump. I feel like a lot of people shouldn't stand next to Trump. I really wouldn't say that about politicians who have to work with him, who really truly have the best interest of people at heart, as long as they stand 10 toes down. And that's what I'm telling you. That's why Zoran comes off like a star in the party. Zoran is no longer a protester. He's no longer a community organizer. He is indeed now an elected official. Okay? And he understands. With Trump, stand tall, right? Stand tall. Let him know you're going to hold your ground. Go scope it out. Now, lastly, my last final point. I do want to say, I think sometimes you guys do this thing where we're like, oh, there's similarities between the populism of Zoran versus Trump. As a day one certified MAGA hater that sees them two standing next to each other, I want to let y'all know that I do see some of the similarities you guys are talking about. Just never forget, the difference is I think Zoran is a lot more genuine in his desires to help everyday Americans, particularly New Yorkers. And I think the other guy, orange guy, is a con man. And I have more than enough evidence to show that to you. All right. I just want to make sure you guys understand that. All right. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
So what seemed clear from the Trump-Mamdani meeting is that Mamdani is clearly the alpha in that relationship.
We've just had a great meeting, a really good, very productive meeting. We have one thing in common. We want this city of ours that we love to do very well. And I wanted to congratulate the mayor. He really ran an incredible race against, a lot of smart people, starting with the early primaries against some very tough people, very smart people. And he beat them easily. And I congratulated him. And we talked about some things in very strong common, like housing and getting housing built, and food and prices, and the price of oil is coming way down. Anything I do is going to be good for New York. If I can get prices down, it's good for New York. And we've got them down, way down from last year. We have, as you know, I've been saying to a lot of people, Walmart said that Thanksgiving this year is exactly 25% less than last year. So that's good for New York, good for everybody. But I just want to congratulate. I think you're going to have, hopefully, a really great mayor. The better he does, the happier I am, I will say. There's no difference in party. There's no difference in anything. And we're going to be helping him to make everybody's dream come true, having a strong and very safe New York. And congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
I mean, at one point during the, press availability, a reporter literally asked Mamdani, do you still think Trump is a fascist? And he was ready to go, and then Trump said, no, don't worry. I got this. You can go ahead and say it. It's fine.
Clarify your answer to Stephen Nelson. He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist, and your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about.
That's okay. You can just say
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
Then he is asked to elaborate, do you think he's a despot? And Trump is like, it's fine. That's also fine. You can say that too.
It sounds like you had a productive discussion, but just days ago you referred to President Trump as a despot who betrayed the country. You said you'd be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda. Are you planning to retract any of these remarks in order to improve your relationship?
I think both President Trump and I, we are very clear about our positions and our views, and what I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers. And frankly, that is something that could transform the lives of the 8.5 million people who are currently struggling under a cost of living crisis, with 1 in 4 living in poverty. And the meeting came back again and again to what it could look like to lift those New Yorkers out of struggle and start to deliver them a city that they could do more than just struggle to afford it, but actually start to live in it.
And I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that insulting. But maybe I think he'll change his mind after we get to working together. Yes, please.
And the winner is Mamdani. He kind of owns Trump. Is this the way Putin and Xi Jinping and Nayib Bukele and Viktor Orban and Kim Jong-un, is this the way they all son Trump? Because it seemed like all you got to do is be nice to him and you have meat out of the palm of your hand. It's weird.
So a reporter asked Zoran Mamdani if he thinks Donald Trump is a fascist. And Donald Trump says, go ahead and say yes. This is wild.
Clarify your answer to Stephen Nelson. He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist, and your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about.
That's okay. You can just say yes. Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
And Mr. President, I wanted to ask you also about this Ukraine plan.
Yeah.
Wow, oh wow, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I've never seen Donald Trump so open and honest with the American people. It's like Zoran got some sort of mind control over him. He looks totally weak because he knows Donald Trump took him to lunch and stole the shine by winning in the state of New York. Oh my gosh. This is really bad for MAGA. This is bad news for the Republicans and a lot of great news for us Democrats. Great job, Zoran. Great job.
If I say a Republican praising a Democrat isn't shocking because they're on the same side, are y'all going to jump me? This is the Democratic Dem I need for president and Lindsey Graham at Dick Cheney's funeral. It is a big club, buddy, and you are not in it. I know what you're going to say, but I cannot be the only one that watched that interview and was like, yep, that's right on track. I mean, I don't know. When Republicans slob over Democrats, it makes me think they have something in common with them. And for him to praise Mamdani for keeping on a staunch Zionist police commissioner that has terrorized the streets of New York and Arabs makes me just uneasy. I don't know. And not the fascist telling you to call him a fascist, and you still don't call him a fascist. And this is coming from someone who called Trump Hitler to his face. You have got to stand on business in that moment because everybody knows that Trump loves a big, strong man that stands on his beliefs. And not doing that in front of the entire world, just and I get it, I get the memes, I get the jokes, but again, very uneasy, made me very uneasy.
I don't think Zoran and Donald have chemistry. I think Donald likes Zoran. He wants some of that swag, but also The same reason people voted for Trump is why Trump likes Zoran. It seems like a cool guy you could have a beer with. He wants to kiki and shit. He like, yeah, we agree on a lot of things, actually. He's a good man. He's a good guy. It's okay. You can go ahead and say it. It's true about him being a fascist. Zoran, how do you feel about Trump being a fascist? You said, go ahead. You can. Trump said, go ahead. You can say it. It's okay. Yeah. He want his swag. He might be a little jealous, actually. Because, like we all know, Zoran is a people's person. He has charisma. He always got that smile on. And one thing he knows how to do that I've always seen, like, he doesn't talk down to other politicians necessarily. He just says what he wants, what he agrees with, what he doesn't like, and what he wants for the people. He always centers New Yorkers in his conversations. No matter what, it always comes back to them. In any sentence, anything they talk about, he brings New Yorkers back to the center of every conversation. So if Trump do something bad, something about SNAP benefits, this amount of Americans benefit from SNAP benefits, and it's good for the people because da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and the New Yorkers need a place like this because da-da-da-da-da-da, and this all is about New Yorkers and what they need, and they need to be fed. They need someone so relies on food stamps, statistics, data, percentage, blah, blah, blah. He always does that. And I also love that he stood on his business. No matter what, he stood on it, talking about Israel, his comments on Donald Trump being a fascist, a bunch of different things, right next to the president in the Oval Office. I mean, honestly, I feel like he's doing it like no other.
After seeing how the whole Mamdani Trump meeting went down, I went to conservative Reddit to see what they were saying, and it was a lot of, Trump is playing 4D chess. He's just propping him up so he can watch Mamdani fall down. I mean, if you say so, Mamdani is charming, okay? Like, it's just, he can't even help it. Zoran's face. Listen, you know what it reminds me of? Remember in The Office when Idris Elba was on and all the women were absolutely losing their minds? And he said, you know, I am aware of the effect that I have on women. He's gonna charm you, whether you want it to happen or not. Listen, we all know that Trump's gonna say something horrible about Mamdani in like 15 seconds, but in his presence, can't do it, okay? The dude is just too adorable. And the dimples get me too, Donnie.
Yo, so the Trump Mamdani meeting just ended, and I swear, I know some people are gonna think it was anticlimactic. I thought that was amazing, bro. What? Dude, they're literally in the Oval Office together, and someone asked Zoran, like, hey man, you still believe Trump is a fascist? And Zoran's like, well, and then Trump's like, that's okay, bro. You could just say yes. And he was like, bet, that's a bet, yes. Like, dude, it was so beautiful. Trump completely submitted to Zoran's power because it's true power. Let me put it to you this way. If Trump and Zoran were two fighters, Trump has been taking steroids, buying refs, and rigging fights for him to win, and Zoran is just like that guy. Like, he be putting people to sleep through the power of Allah. Trump sees that and he goes, I'm not gonna fight his ass. He's gonna beat my ass. I don't care who I buy. I'm gonna lose. So what does he do? Hey, man. We've been friends for a long time, huh? I swear, even some of your ideas sound like my ideas. Isn't that crazy, bro? Bro, Trump actually said that. Some of his ideas sound like my ideas. Bro, which ideas? The ideas that you are a dictator? Like, bro, it got to the point where Trump was even like, I don't even really care about party affiliation. What is a party? We could throw one together, bro. So beautiful. And I just love the fact that Mamdani did not retract his statements. When they asked Mamdani, hey, do you retract your statements about calling Trump a despot? Mamdani was like, you know, we did have a great meeting. And then Trump was like, yeah, and like, I've been called a lot worse too. So like, it's all good. Bro, he was afraid, dude. Oh man, I love it. That's what Trump is so afraid of. He's afraid of the general public's true response to what they feel should be a leader.
The reporters were being so rude to Mamdani during his meeting with Trump today, and I expected that. But what I did not expect was how hard Trump would defend him.
Why did you fly here? Our train screener.
He's working very hard for him to be. That's a very long drive. I'll stick up for you.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about.
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay.
It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
Mr. Mamdani often talks about New York City being covered by international law, that they will follow international law. Doesn't often talk about the U.S. Constitution. What is your response to that?
Well, I don't know what you're referring to in terms of it could be covered by international law, local law. It's covered by a lot of law.
Mind you, this is the same man who called Mamdani a communist lunatic and threatened to withhold federal funding from New York if he was elected. I would genuinely pay money to find out what happened during that meeting that turned Trump into Mamdani's biggest fan. Like, I'm not mad at all about it. I just don't understand it.
First of all, I want to applaud New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani and President Donald Trump for agreeing to meet with each other. Regardless how you feel about either one of them is irrelevant. We need the mayor of the biggest city in America, one of our most important cities and one of the most important cities in the world, and the president of our country to be on speaking terms. Like, that is a standard requirement regardless of how you feel about them personally. Now that all that's out of the way, Zohran Mamdani being the one to request this meeting with the president after all the Islamophobia and all the disrespect and prejudice we've seen and all the, the mudslinging we've seen from both sides towards each other. The fact that he requested the meeting and pulled up in D.C. on the president of the United States, this is just a belief of why pull-up culture is a thing. People can talk crazy about you. And I know he's talked crazy about President Donald Trump as well, but he's always said he's willing to work with the president as long as he has the care for the citizens of New York at the forefront. If they can work together to make sure the lives of New Yorkers are better, then he's willing to work with the president. He said that regardless of how much mess he's talked about. President Donald Trump ain't said the same. But you see, when you pull up on people direct to their face, they never sing the same tune. President Donald Trump said he's a rational guy. He said they both agree on one thing, is that they want a safer New York. And they both said the meeting was productive. I personally think that's all you can really ask for at this current time. This is the first meeting, if I'm not mistaken, the first time they've ever met. So if I was a citizen of New York, I'd be extremely satisfied with what I'm hearing from the results of the meeting. And I think this is a good sign for New York moving forward, especially when President Donald Trump was saying things he was going to do or wasn't going to do for New York if Zohran Mamdani won. If I was a New Yorker, I'd feel pretty good about what we have been shown was the outcome of this meeting. So salute New York and hope for y'all the best. And if you all do well, hopefully that leads to the United States of America doing well.
He called that man a fascist to his face. This is why New York City will always be the greatest city in the world. He didn't pander. He didn't beat around the bush. He answered every question and brought it back to the point. He's the mayor of New York, not the president, Take notes.
This is all I got from this video. This is a typical example that, some people, the only time they have power is from far away. And they can't do shit when they see you. They just be moping and they just be complying. Like, you could see what happened. He couldn't say shit. He couldn't say anything. He was just say, yeah. And I am sure that he also, like he said before, Libra, people, those people say that I remember them, people on the other side saying that Mamdani was inexperienced, yet he handled Trump better than Kamala, any other person could. He handled Trump so good, like our big sister would have, but that was a great one. I did not see it coming. Why did I say this? I said this because from the look of things, from the things you and I have seen him say before, from the things you and I have heard him say, see him display, I'm not sure if I was expecting him to be that humble lamb, because it was so weird seeing him that humbled. And why was he even touching him, for crying out loud, Or was he crushing on him? You never can tell. Boo baba, baba boo, that kind of something. I am glad that sometimes people that say some nasty things about you might end up being the ones, eating their words. So it's more like he's eating his horrible words back at him. At first, I was like, is this AI? But then it is not AI, it is real. The man that was saying he is this, he is that. If I see him, that will happen, that will happen. And he is saying him, and he is nothing but smitten with Mamdani's everything. My guy is gonna lose it. My daddy didn't change on anything, but Trump is backed down, as you can see. I love to see things like this. I love to see him also know that people call him fascist, because that is what he is. Yeah. So I think he was fascinated, but whichever one it is, I am sure you all. Where are the MAGAs? This is your papa, right? But he couldn't do shit after saying him. You guys really better be careful. I will draw my curtain here. Bye for now.